Drop down inwards to your ocean floor. Release. Relax. And listen to the data in your body. Practice world building here first and affirm yourself for a while. Honor your grief. Honor your rage, fear. Honor the knowledge systems and memories that live in you. Pay homage to your lineages. Honor your awakening and your desire for something else. At this time on the clock of the world, during colonialism's long night, we know enough to respect the tremors, the knowledge that fills our bodies, the maps that tell us something about the world. We know to honor the questions that mount our beings like masquerades, spirits that shake off inertia again and again, because these ritual injustices that we endure, that our people endure, make no sense. So inhale, exhale, and visualize warm blue light filling your throat, strong enough to strike down any force that would silence you, gentle enough to rouse awake the giants that sleep in you. Give voice to the cry affirming that love lives in you, and be transformed by it. Drop down inwards to your ocean floor. Release. Relax. And listen to the data in your body. Practice world building here first and affirm yourself for a while. Honor your grief. Honor your rage, fear. Honor the knowledge systems and memories that live in you. Pay homage to your lineages. Honor your awakening and your desire for something else. At this time, on the clock of the world, during colonialism's long night, we know enough to respect the tremors, the knowledge that fills our bodies, the maps that tell us something about the world. We know to honor the questions that mount our beings like masquerades, spirits that shake off inertia again and again, because these ritual injustices that we endure, that our people endure, make no sense. So inhale, exhale, and visualize warm blue light filling your throat. Strong enough to strike down any force that would silence you, gentle enough to rouse awake the giants that sleep in you. Give voice to the cry affirming that love lives in you, and be transformed by it. Drop down inwards to your ocean floor. Release. Relax. And listen to the data in your body. Practice world building here first and affirm yourself for a while. Honor your grief. Honor your rage, fear. Honor the knowledge systems and memories that live in you. Pay homage to your lineages. Honor your awakening and your desire for something else.
Just want to say, your phones, please put them on do not disturb or turn them off or turn them down. At is voices that shake, hashtags shake launch, shake trilogy, and hashtag 10 years of shake. The formalities out of the way. Just want to welcome everyone. That film was made by our shakers, Tiff Webster, and the soundscape was by Tej.
Woo-hoo!
You can see it again on our website and or publications. Oh my gosh. So now we're gonna start the event. So to make sure that I'm not nervous and you lot feel the vibe, we're gonna do a little call and response. So when I say voices, you say shake. Voices?
Shake!
Voices?
Shake!
Voices?
Shake!
I didn't have to tell you lot to shout. I love that.
In the spirit of Shake, we want to welcome everybody into space, and also the people that can't be here today, the people that nurtured us, that nurtured Shake, that helped to put the anthology together and the trilogy, and also our ancestors.
So we're here to celebrate 10 years of Shake, because we've been in this game for a minute now, a decade. Don't know, and so I just feel really proud right now. I'm here to celebrate our partners. We got Numbi Art, we got Skin Deep, Healing Justice London, and of course Platform London. Now, this is an incredible course. 10 years ago, they came to a sweet part of the world, South London. Where they did a program which is encouraging youth in an intergenerational way to learn how to use the arts to communicate and protest and convey messages that are not easily heard. At first we use DJing, video, poetry, anything creative you can think of, we've done it. And it was a beautiful thing, getting talk about art, media, and race. I was on the first course when I was 17. I had no beard. I had more hair. Definitely a lot more ruder. But I'm a sweet boy. And I wouldn't be the person I am without these beautiful people, so I feel really proud of my journey,
This is the first of a few launches, and it celebrates the first chapter, which is The Cry. And we are your co-hosts for tonight. So yeah, we'll be holding space for everyone in real life and also online. Hi, everyone. So it's myself and Rotimi. I'm very pleased to have Rotimi with me here today. I think he's really a great host. And a bit about Rotimi. So Rotimi Skyers, Sheikh Fam since 2010, when he was 17 with the hair, is a writer of Jamaican descent from South London. Brap, brap. Woo! He writes surrealist poetry around healing and love and has published a collection of poems. Currently working on a novel and a new poetry collection. He is a member of East, an arts collective supporting artists of color, and his @ is Romy Sky, and that is on Instagram. Woo!
Now I gotta step it up now. Now you see my amazing, beautiful, magnanimous, outstanding co-host, Sazawa Francis. She's been part of the Sheikh Fam since 2017. That's still a while back. Works at the intersection of race, gender, and class to explore self and social transformation. She's also a member of the Nari Collective, singing for justice, singing to reclaim their time, and singing for the ancestors, them.
Sorry, got the papers all over the place. So yeah, my journey to Sheikh started in 2017. Sheikh was organizing a Grenfell, and I got involved, and then I just got more involved with Sheikh since then. I went on some courses, and the rest is history. But honestly, if you want to know more, it's all in there. So what we've got lined up for the night. Woo! We've got poetry from our Sheikh family.
We've got appearances from our partners.
Presentations from the leads behind the 3 publications.
A wellness break at 8:05 p.m.
And then more fun, we've got more poetry and insights into the trilogy from Sheikh family, the team, and the partners.
We also got some guests, which you'll find out later. And also, closing at the night will be our amazing DJ Dry Babe, who is in the audience.
So to start off the night, we're going to introduce Rose and Tiff, who are going to talk about the Shake the System trilogy. They've done a lot of work in it, and they have a lot of insight into it.
And to honor everybody here, we're going to read out their bios that they've sent, so you get a full feel of who they are. So first is Rose. Is an Iranian educator, program manager, participatory researcher, and healer. She's been working at the intersections of social justice, healing and liberation practice, creativity, arts and culture, youth and community work for the past 10 years. She's managed the legacy. She managed the legacy program at Sheikh, leading on Anthology, research report, and Guidebook.
Tiff, whose pronouns are she and they, is a creative practitioner, storyteller, and socio-environmental activist of Kittitian and Galician heritage, raised in northwest London and Galicia, Spain. Her experience of navigating both IRL and URL as a Black working class queer creative have played a crucial role in informing her practice and how she chooses to disrupt spaces. So without further ado,
this is a lot.
So that's us.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being in this space and sharing this moment with us. Me and Rose aren't used to actually being on stage and visible in this way. But we know that it's important to visibilize the labor that goes behind the work.
Yeah, I think before we were trying to practice and think about what we're going to say, and we were just like, let's just name it. We feel a lot of discomfort being in front of, everybody. But we're not going to hide anymore. Jasmine Sullivan the other day said, I made a promise to myself, I am no longer hiding. And we are here, no longer hiding. And we're going to do our best.
Not just us, though. We have this amazing team that was part of the whole, trilogy making. So we have, Anik, we have Haneen, we have Paula, Jane, Sai, Fazana, which you're all gonna meet and they're all gonna speak, so it's not just all of us. And we've got Deborah as well, our amazing comms lead, so big up to everyone in this room.
Yes. Yeah, I think part of the reason why we feel a bit more comfortable being on the stage is because of the fact that everyone here is incredible folks around us. I think me and Tiff are friends beyond any of this work, and there's so many people here that are friends beyond any of this work, and I think that allows us to at least tap into that. We didn't script anything, so we're just going to kind of flow with it, and we're going to just have a conversation, do our best. There's a couple questions we're going to ask each other, and just kind of let the spirit guide us, that whatever needs to come out, come out. So the first question that we were kind of thinking about was, why the trilogy, why now?
So why are we all here? Well, Shake started back in 2010, and it was one of the few youth initiatives that was really tackling radical political youth work in the creative arts. And what we wanted to do was, in 2010, how do we distill that? How do we archive that? How do we embody all of these transformational practices? And how do we share that with everyone? How do we use that as a framework or a blueprint, right? So that was why we put this together, and these publications were born from that. Literally, we birthed them. It was painful. They're born, they're here, and we are different people today. I am a completely different person on this stage than 5 minutes ago, maybe, but also at the beginning of this whole publication, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are. I think there's been 1,000 versions of these publications, and there's been 1,000 versions of us. Absolutely. And I think part of the reasons why we're doing this work is because I think our histories get erased, and I think we don't get a chance often to archive the process, and I think the process is where all the magic happens. And I think part of the reasons why we wanted to do these trilogies was to capture creative art movements. What that means, art is inherently transformational, inherently political. How do we capture that? How do we communicate that? And then think about the methods, the pedagogy, the ways in which we were able to do it, and kind of share that with the world. Especially at a time where there's been so much collective loss, there's been so much pain, there's so much that we're all holding in so many different ways. And hopefully part of these publications is to kind of honor that, and also just not be defined just by our pains, and think about the fact that our pains are also our resistance, also the ways in which we transform, and it's also the ways in which we can find liberation and kind of get there and dream bigger and bigger until it becomes reality.
Thank you. So ultimately, a lot of us, we say we don't want to just survive, we want to thrive, right? And we've been doing a lot of surviving. And today, I just really want us to thrive right now. And, in the words of Fazana, who spoke recently, sometimes maybe we don't always survive it all, but this is a testament to all of the work that we've done, and that we're here, and then that we've done this, and we're doing it, right? We're living that prefigurative politics. So I just wanted to big us up today. It's been an honor to do this work. It's been transformational, and I couldn't have done it with I've done it with the most amazing people by my side. So,
you want to talk a bit more about how?
How we done the process was really grueling. About 200 people participated in this work, and we were very thorough with it. We have commissions, essays, videos. We've got augmented reality in it. We've involved all mad tech in there, poetry. So it's really an artistic anthology like no other. And the research report and the guidebook, all of these are tools and the blueprint for this transformational change that we all want to see. So we hope that it's being used in that way. We hope that it's shared, and we hope to just create more. Like, this is just the beginning, isn't it? So that's really what we want and what we hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, when we started this journey, it was going to be like a 90-page research. No, it was going to be a 50-page research report, and it was going to be maybe like a 120-page anthology, and it's ended up with a 120-page research report, a whole other guidebook, and a 320-page anthology with augmented reality and performances. There's just been layers and layers and layers and layers added as we've gone along, and I think it's taught us a lot about letting go of control and just trusting the process and like leaning into it and leaning into, yeah, just like trusting the people around you to also carry the work together. Like, the more that we do that, the more that we're able to just create magic. I think I was also going to say we had like some community kind of sessions to help shape the process. So they're going to talk about it more as part of the research, but also as part of the anthology. We had community sessions to kind of get feedback and get everyone's input into this. So it's been a collective, collaborative effort all the way from the beginning to the end. So honouring everyone who's contributed on that. So I think lastly, we're going to close by talking about what's our hope for these publications.
Yeah, I really don't want it to end here. I want us to continue, right? And I want it to grow. And then I want not just archives to function where we just hold all of our histories, but that we actually use them and input them into what's happening right now. And yeah, I feel very honored to be part of that. And I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. So that's what I hope for these publications.
Yes. I think for me as well, like similar to what Tiff has said, I think, yeah, I hope like generation. I think I'm going to name Remy and Ruben, who are Sai's sons. I'm just going to name them because they've been with us throughout the whole process. And Remy is 5 and Ruben is 8. And they've been in like all the Zoom meetings. They've been, we've been to visit them. They're like part of the family. Like, I'm an auntie, like, since doing these, like, officially. You'll see pictures. And I think like part of it is I was thinking, okay, what would I like for this? And I was like, I hope like in 10 years' time we can look back and think about like how much we were how we were experiencing this moment in a particular time, how we were experiencing a decade before, and like what life is like afterwards, and how we've been able to kind of capture that and then let that kind of guide the next generation. I think like so many elders and ancestors and people before us have left like imprints for us to be able to carry forward, and I hope like this is part of it that can be kind of taken in different communities, different spaces. And I hope more people get to like archive their work, because there's so much incredible work happening in so many different spaces, and I just hope that more folks get a chance to kind of archive it and share that with the rest of the world too. And that's it.
Wow, wow, wow. I definitely feel like I know a lot more about the trilogy now.
Carla, I feel immense pride. If you look at the back, you've got our publications there. What I do admire is that, thank you for supporting. What I do admire is that with community work, sometimes there's disjointedness. You have the academic side, the grassroots side, the creatives, and sometimes it doesn't all merge or mesh. And from like reading our publication, I feel really proud that they've put work into the research, researching the communities and each other and what society is built upon. And also a guidebook to help those who want to got a foot in the game or just want to start, figure out the right routes to go, as well as an anthology series of all the work we've done, both locally, internationally, in schools, with organizations, in politics. It's beautiful. So I feel really proud to be part of that, So again, thank you all for the work you've been putting into. Now, introducing the next part of the night, it's 2 amazing poets from our Sheikh family. I've worked with both of them, amazing energy. I just get shivers when I hear them speak. So this is Annie and Sky. So.
Annie Roxon is a writer, researcher, and poet. They are of Ghanaian descent and from Kent. She has performed at venues such as the Mayor of London's office, the House of Commons, and the first ever Winchester Poetry Festival. She has additionally had her poem featured in the world's first Instagram poetry exhibition at the National Poetry Library.
Guys, Caesar is 21 years old, writer, filmmaker, interested in bringing up the forefront of Afrocentricity, spirituality, the whole self, not partial, everything in it. She is currently self-publishing her debut self-help novel, The Little Book of Infinite Realities. Infinite really baffles. Is it infinite or infinite? Infinite Realities. With pre-releases open at infinite.squarespace.com.
Hi, my name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. Hi, my name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. I'm afraid to repeat myself. Hi, my name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. I'm afraid to repeat. My self-worth has been taken from me. My self-worth has been taken from me. So now palm my way into poetry. Thankfully, a blank space for me. A no judgment zone so as flow for my soul to be whole finally, no boundaries to inhibit my personality, no delicate rules of etiquette to define whether I'm sane or crazy, no peer pressuring eyes silhouetted in shadows of my mind that stigmatize. And we call this freedom of speech, but freedom of expression has now become freedom of oppression. It has birthed bullies, alchemists that mold words into bullets by belittling and bitching sessions, and it hurts. When in lessons that we are taught that our voices have no hearts, that they are lifeless beings we cremate into ashes of insignificance, only holding weight. When we use the arguments of respected names that have money, power, and a claim to fame. Freedom of oppression is like a hurricane. It destroys other people's lives by creating ghettos of silence where tongues are involuntarily tied, by buds that flower from the taste of being denied, by the touch of feeling demonized. So now our speech is becoming dumb because we're all being desensitized. But I remember when speech was meant to be a symphony of synonyms that synchronize our sides, and it was meant to flow streams of silver that were meant to slip, that were meant to slide lovingly off of tongues to emancipate one another. What has happened? Because all I hear are verbal assassinations making us mute and making us stutter. We use words thick with hate to subjugate. We splutter victims into pursed lips that fear whips from tongues dipped into sick fallacies. So don't tell me that freedom is part of our vocabulary. When we send tweets that leech onto each other's inadequacies and post comments massacring confidence into quiet insecurities. When I'm smart and you're dumb, I'm big and you're little, I'm right and you're wrong, and there's nothing as a society that we're doing about it. But the times that I'm now living in is one in which freedom is being used to imprison, so we need to let go of our egos that arrogantly believe that being anonymous justifies hating on another human being, and we need to recognize that accents don't define. Your language may be different, but your speech is not better than mine, and we need to break systematic structures that build barriers in the way we write, the way we rhyme, the way we think and articulate our lives. They say our speech is free. So maybe that's why our talk has become so cheap. So hi, my name is Annie, and that's why I struggle to speak. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm Annie, and I came to Shake in 2013, and I had like social anxiety and things like that. And Shake really helped me to find my voice and to understand that my voice has power to make a change in this world, and my life hasn't been the same since, so I thank Shake for that. So now I'm going to introduce my fellow poet, Sky.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Good night. My name is Sky. I'm 21 years old, and I wrote this poem quite a few years ago when I was quite hurt. But this is the me of many me's ago, so I will be revisiting her tonight. Hope you enjoy. This is Hurt, Her, Hurt. When the dizzying reality TV's chatter and fallacies gets drowned out by the creeping signal failure of disconnection. Good luck functioning. And when the mind becomes the main character that allows itself to drunkenly spill through numbness and inability, unfunctionability, the antagonist that choke holds the heart's throat. Good luck humaning. And when the tongue slips on itself and says everything but what it wants to say, like that one auntie, that headache that won't go away. When what the church calls demons won't go away, good luck breathing. When the wrist doesn't freeze, but your will does, and so painful the black hole sucks the Milky Way dry. When all you can do with the feeling is feel the feeling, the need to fly, but you swim. Remember to create alternative realities, bring life through connection of all that is limitless and possible. Remember to cut through darkness, the hero with the sword of sober clarity. Remember who taught you to speak this way and heal your tongue. Remember to find peace in knowing infinite stars shine you alive. Everything just as a certain degree from black holes and the sun to create optimal conditions for living. Good luck is upon you, sweet child. You were born with it. Thank you.
Rotted, man. Hold on, me digest what them just say. And he say, freedom is used to imprison. Did I hear that right? Babylon's a wicked thing, you know. You think about capitalism, they give you all this choice, so-called choice, and there's no choice at all. Just garbage. Yo, man, that hit me wicked. Ooh. And then what's Sky say? Mind becomes the main character. You ever been hurt, yeah, and you're just by yourself, and your mind just starts running away? You're like, you know what, I should just find myself into this little dark place. I mean, don't want to leave. Close the window, don't bathe. Sit down there, anxiety hits up on me. You start smelling yourself like 3 days. Like, oh, I should have bathed 3 days ago, you know. I felt them, man. I need to work on my poetry now. Like, that was, you know. So, like, can I get another round of applause for Annie and Sky? Now we're going to introduce one of our first partners for tonight, you know, Shake family, Shake frequent collaborator, you know. Goes by the name of Kinsey Abdullah. Is a visual artist. Oh, no, do that. It's a Kinsey Abdullah. Clap. Respect the elders around here. Kinsey is a visual artist whose skills and experience encompass 3 decades of uniting disparate communities through creative endeavors anchored in social justice. Artist and creator, editor, producer, educator, and founder and co-director of Numbi Arts and the first Somali museum in the UK. Coming on stage to speak on work that is led by young people. Please give it up for Kinsey.
That's how old I am. I have to be held up. Hand up to the stage. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. And blessings to you all. I'm deeply honored by that introduction. But Sheikh is a family, allies, and good friends, and comrades, and has been a pleasure, and always amazing to host Sheikh at Rich Mix. Wherever we went, it's always been meeting some of these young people grow. I've been knocking around for 3 decades. That shows you how old I am. And Numbi has been around in different disguises, so kind of setting up autonomous space, collapsing it, and going by the name of Kudu Arts and Numbi, and our most recent project is the Somali Museum. And this publication really brought tears to my eyes. I was so emotionally moved, seeing it in the process, seeing all the hard work that went into it. And I honestly, for days, I was reading it. And I'm thinking, yes, wow, this can go here. Oh my God, look at this. And to actually also recognize the names behind the artwork, the film, the poetry, the music. We have been on a similar journey, on the same journey, trying to repair, heal, transform, change, fight, rest, breathe, call again, mobilize, retreat, rebel, and revolutionize from the heart. And archive has been our latest journey, because we shall not be erased. We will not be erased. And I feel proud to be here tonight to see this. Even the pictures were glittering. The light was coming through. I was like, wow, it's purple now. I'm definitely a purple lady at heart. And even the stage, Shakers have always been the most amazing people, fine to the detail. And now we are training a group of young people to be producers. I shall put this in their hands. We're collaborating with the Museum of London, Black Heritage London, and this really is going to be useful. It's going to go in the Somali Museum archive. I have grown by this, and I'm really proud of each and every single one of you and everybody here for supporting this. And thank you very much. I'm going to leave it there.
Wow, that was great. It's really good to learn more about the work that Kinsey does and how it interacts with and collaborates with the work that we've been doing over the past 10 years. So coming up next, we're going to have Anik and Haneen, who are going to talk about the research report and guidebook, which was their baby for this trilogy. They put so much blood, sweat, and tears and time into it, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that.
So I just want to introduce Haneen. Is Sudanese, grew up between back home and the UK. She's a shaker, pursuing work in the field to end detention migration, and is currently a secondary researcher for Voices at Shake. 10 years in this game, 10-year anniversary, Shake the System research report.
And Annick Matefia is a youth worker and racial justice activist from France, based in London. She supports Black and brown people in researching the history and developing a collective response to police violence, racism, and LGBT phobias. She writes poetry and is a member of the ballroom community. Woo! So Vogon up here.
Hi. I mean, it's incredible being here. So I'm Annick. I'm lead researcher. Sorry, there's young people. I brought young people I work with, and they're like waving at me from the back. I'm lead researcher at Voices at Shake, and that means that basically with Haneen, we wrote the research report and we helped put together the guidebook that's at the back in 2020. Thank you. So I first encountered Shake in 2016 at a showcase in Rich Mix down the road. And at that time, I didn't really write poetry or anything. And during that evening, I just saw young people my age reciting poetry and putting experiences that I knew intimately into words for the first time in my life. And I'm bringing that up because what Shakers showed me that evening, and I've continued to show me when I then went on to do 2 courses with Shake and started writing poetry, is that the experiences that I was going through as a Black queer woman were definitely not poetic, but my response to them could be, which was just my existence and my resistance to them. That was worthy of poetry. I was worthy of poetry. And so I'm actually really proud that I have 2 pieces of writing in the anthology. And for me, they're linked to the content of the research report as well that we wrote. We did this research during a pandemic, which means that we had to do most of our interviews with Shakers on Zoom. And for an organization that is used to doing such embodied work, that was particularly difficult. But actually, if you watch the recordings of the interviews, you can see us laughing together, like me and Rotimi's interview. You can see us grounding ourselves, like me and Promi's interview. You can see a lot of us waiting for the connection to be stable again. A lot of that. And you can see me just almost crying at Sahar's poem. And yeah, so this research, it means so much to me because it's young people of the global majority saying, we are tired of being researched, so we're going to produce data, we're going to produce histories, we're going to produce beauty about ourselves, by ourselves, for ourselves.
I'm Haneen, and being led, working alongside, and learning from Annick and Paula and the research team and the whole team, it's been an amazing experience and a real honor. And when we were asked to talk about our reflections a little bit today on the process, I think the main thing for me has been about how intergenerational Shake is, and intergenerational in 2 ways, both in the ways that across the last 10 years of Shake, it's all the Shakers that have made Shake, all the allies and friends and people put Shake together, and that's what the research really tried to hold. And when others have talked about it in terms of that collaboration process, and in this room, like, there's just so many layers and like different ages, and so that's one thing. And the other thing is generational, intergenerational in terms of our ancestors and our elders. And so my first course was in 2014 with my friend Janet, who's part of the Shake team, who's here today as well. And we have to do something called Shake Inspirations, where it's like people or ideas that inspire you. And I remember putting down my grandma's, and I feel like this is the thing about Shake, that the research was, the process of it was as Shake-like as we could make it, and that's what the core of it was. And I think it just really held for us that everything is radical, but it's not necessarily new, and that we've had an interruption in our cultures, in our societies, and our people on how to be. And so Shake has really shown, and through this process of like what work is, what being professional is, and it was really difficult, and it was hard to hold space for each other and be accountable and responsible, but also create that environment to just be, and that's what the research publications were. It's about creating the space for us to be who we are instead of always being in reaction. We are unlearning and relearning, but also it's about us as us, and without it having to be in response to something else. So, yeah. Thank you.
So we had the support of the amazing Paola Serafini during this process. Paola is an amazing activist, researcher, zine maker, and unfortunately she couldn't be with us in person tonight. She's back in Argentina doing amazing work there, but we, in the sunshine, making us very envious. She recorded something about her experience of the research, so we're gonna hear her now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paola Serafini. I'm a researcher, educator, organizer, and creative practitioner. I was previously art and activism facilitator for Shake, and most recently I acted as research mentor for the Trilogy project. My role as research mentor was to work with the researchers Anik and Hanin and with the project producer Rose to devise approaches and methods that were in line with the aims and objectives of the project, and that were in line with Shake's own methods and ethos. In other words, we looked to devise research tools and processes that were prefigurative, meaning that the research we did and how we did it was putting into practice ways of working, creating community, and generating knowledge that align with the kind of world we want to live in. For me, it was really great to be part of this project because through the research training I delivered and subsequent research planning discussions and meetings, Hanin and Nick, Rose and I managed to co-develop new ways of putting into practice big concepts such as non-extractive research and decolonial research, which are really basic to a lot of the other work that I do. So mentoring was also a learning experience for me and an opportunity to reflect on my other work as well. Being part of this project was also very special because I've been part of Shake since 2013. Shake has always followed its own rules and rhythms. We develop our own ways of doing things and of working collectively. We are very responsive to the context and the needs of the team and the communities we work with, and we are not afraid of redefining objectives as we go along. This is why Shake is so authentic. In a world in which outside pressures often limit how authentic we can be, I really think that Shake offers a glimpse into how this can be done. I really hope you enjoy the 3 publications as much as I enjoyed being part of the process.
Shout out to Paola. See that we're international out here in Argentina. I've worked with Paola before. One time, all of us flew to Detroit to do some community work. You know, as you said, we do our job. You get me, fam? None of this whole, I just want to reach. You know, we reach out, and we reach out. You know, so like we branch out. We out here. Check us out. Also, you know what? Let me say something. You see, Anik, Hanin, being a researcher is probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever heard of. Being a researcher during the pandemic.
Back when all our moods are all over the place, nobody wants to be social, we forgot how to be social, you know. Listen, I appreciate you both. You worked your asses off, stayed positive. Even when some of us, myself, wasn't being fully cooperative at moments, you always stayed positive and you always showed me love, and I appreciate that so much, and the team does, and we all do. So, like, thank you so much. No, I never used to be a fan of poetry before Shake. I thought it was quite whimsical, tedious, or use it for romance. Back then, I only had a mobile phone, so like romance was like, you know, what you on? I've seen you from across the way, fam. What's good, B? So when I joined the course, you know, there's like many different art forms to do, and I was like, I want to do DJing because I feel like music is banging, innit? And then like two wonderful people, Sai Murray, who is here in the front, and Zena Edwards. Shout out to Zena. These two are amazing poets. These two are amazing poets. They did a technique called reverse psychology and was basically like, oh, I bet you can write. You love to talk. You should be able to write too. And I was like, I don't want to write. Okay, then don't write. And I was like, what do you mean? Tricked my ass into the course, and I've been writing ever since. So as you can see, this anthology has poetry, sung by me. So I'm just going to read you a little one in case you didn't know I was a poet. Got to stay on brand. Now, it's on page, you see how many pages there are? Page 67. It's a short poem. I know I talk a lot. It's called Heavy. I would never ask of you to smile, for the weight behind could bring you down. But when you do, all on your own, for yourself, no one can take that from you. Now, before I introduce this greenhorn performer who I admire so much, you know, I just need you lot to clap, shake your feet, snap your fingers, everything. Right now, keep doing it, keep going. Rah, 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 rah. Love it. So give up for Cesara.
Wow. Oh, this is not on.
You're welcome.
See, I told you guys, Rotimi is like a seasoned host and just brings the vibe. And thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate it because this is the first time that I'm ever going to read this poem, and it's actually the only poem that I've ever wrote. I wrote it, I was commissioned for a project that was talking about buried rivers in Brixton. And yeah, so this is from a free write. It doesn't actually have a title. It's just called From a Free Write, inspired by Ephra, which is a river in Brixton. At a confluence where forces collide, the webbing of fingers together tied and fed into a hand that tries to wade through ink waters. It finds itself stirring what is hidden deep beneath the surface. Scarring etched lightly into written signs, ecosystems once thrived, memorialized, deforming the V's but dotting the I's. Withered, watery limbs reach out to remind that on which we are held upright proves as sincere as the flicker of light on waves. Rhythms and flows, once steady as clocks, now whisper on peaks and sighs into troughs, which utter the echoes of lifelines lost. These changes imposed beyond the true cost, and the city of lights keeps ticking and twinkling along. The city of rivers pulses faintly, meandering tales, long since bottled and washed away, wandering senselessly through tissue and veins. What happens when you cut a lifeline? Buried by skin as thick as concrete, voice stifled and muffled, confined between canopies which sun can't seep, canopies through which sun can't seep, and the beds on which the rivers sleep, their indefinite, deprived solitaries, vessels now only for foreign bodies, discarded, disposed, and out of sight and out of mind.
You okay? That was a free write. That's still amazing. It was like, you know, like, okay, maybe this image I got was like a plant growing and then extending and then going from like organic to mechanical, you know, it was like a web. It was bizarre, like it was very surreal. You know, was it once steady as a clock? Something like that. I have not been steady as a clock ever, but shout out to the reliable people out there. So we're gonna have a break soon, 20 minutes. You know, some refreshments. You can buy the book them over there. Yep. Hey, you don't shout, yeah? The book's over there. Love you guys. Look on the, yeah. Our young people doing their community service. I love it. Serving the community. You know. Also, our lovely Grace Lee has an exhibition going on in the other room there. So go admire and support, you know, buy some prints, do your work. And we'll see you all soon at 8:25.
Drop down inwards to your ocean floor. Release. Relax. And listen to the data in your body. Practice world building here first and affirm yourself for a while. Honor your grief. honor your rage, fear. Honor the knowledge systems and memories that live in you. Pay homage to your lineages. Honor your awakening and your desire for something else. At this time, on the clock of the world, during colonialism's long night, we know enough to respect the tremors, the knowledge that fills our bodies, the maps that tell us something about the world. We know to honor the questions that mount our beings like masquerades, spirits that shake off inertia again and again, because these ritual injustices that we endure, that our people
My name is Selena Nwulu. I am a writer and a poet, and I am a shaker. So I did the OG Shake, the 2010 pilot, and it has been an honour to see, to observe, but also to at varying points be part of the evolution of Shake over the past 11 years, and it is also an honour to be part of this beautiful anthology, and my contribution is a piece which really reflects on the 10 years that I've had since Shake, 10, 11 years, but also that Shake has had and the world has had, and so I'm going to just read a bit of an extract of that for you. I am interested in finding beauty in poetry, even in the most hopeless of situations. Firstly, to disarm the reader from expectations of how political poetry should look and feel, but also to offer the idea that even in the most devastating of blows, there is creativity and there is resistance. Similarly, years after the pilot, Shake has expanded, operating from its foundation of speaking to the structures of oppression, while also honouring the connection to the body as home to both oppression and revolution, understanding that where there is grief, there is joy, and for all the damage that surrounds us, there is repair and reparation, everything searching for its symmetry. The end of anything significant often carries a multitude of emotion, but the end of the Shake pilot never felt sad. It was really just a beginning. I almost instantly carried on writing poems, discovering the depths of my voice, the range of what I wanted to say and its importance. Soon after Shake, I did an open mic, which led to another and to being spotted by Apples and Snakes, the UK's leading spoken word organisation, who offered me my first paid gig. It set me on a path. After 10 years of Shake in this current iteration, I see the parallel, an ending leading to another beginning, a community of Shakers performing, skill sharing, protesting and carving their own paths, making their own work and bringing the unsaid to the spotlight. Shake has and will continue to embody all these things through all those who have been part of the Shake family. There are many ways to understand the meaning behind voices that shake. Voices that shake the status quo, voices that shake ourselves and others to act, our voices shaking in anger, even fear. But fear and difficulty does not mean that we stop. It means we carry on regardless, precisely because it's worth fighting and shaking for. For all of us, 2020 was a terrifying and distressing start to a new decade. But the first 10 years of Shake offers us a legacy to move forward from, calling on us now more than ever to speak to what matters even if we're afraid. Because we know our history, to be guided by our bodies as a site of inner wisdom, the answers already speaking within us, and to harness the power of our imagination, because this is how we build alternative, powerful futures we are working towards. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. Just hearing Selena speak, she said, when there is grief, there is joy. And God, I felt kind of emotional hearing that. A couple of weeks ago, my cousin lost his life, and it was quite sad. He was only like 31 and whatnot. Very, very tragic. But as Jamaicans, say when we do funerals, we do funerals. You can cry, but you're going to laugh way more than you cry. So, we do this thing called night night. So, night after you pass, we party, we go in, we go ham, we drink, we dance, we celebrate, we do joy. And even his funeral, We're having a sound clash at its burial. I cannot lie to you. One half was singing Jamaican gospel, the other half was singing roots reggae. And like, just like she said, when there is grief, there is joy. And I really feel that that's the way we build, you know. What they say, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. You know, two sides of the same coin. So, Selena's my birthday twin, July 19th, Cancer Energy. Me and her were on the same cohort back in 2010. She's an award-winning writer, poet of Nigerian heritage. She has toured her work internationally and has been widely published in a variety of journals, short films, and anthologies, as well as translated into Polish and Greek. She was shortlisted for the Brno International African Poetry Prize of 2019. And her debut full-length collection, A Little Resurrection, will be published in autumn 2022. Okay, you know, so.
Next up, we have Khadija Cisse and Anu Henriquez, who are going to talk to us about what Shake and the trilogy can do for all of us. And they're going to do it from their specific expert experience and perspective.
So, Khadija Cisse, FRSA. I don't know what that means, but I think it's fellowship. You say fellowship? Fellowship. Is a literary activist, publisher of Sable Lit Mag, publications manager for Inscribe, People Tree, Anthologies, editor and co-founder of Mbaka Festival, Mboka Festival in Gambia. She has published a poetry collection, Iki, I'm learning, and received awards and fellowships for her work. She's a doctoral scholarship student researching Black British publishers and Pan-Africanism.
Anu Henriquez is the founder and co-director of Skin Deep, a collective that makes space for Black creatives and creatives of color to work towards justice through cultural production. She's currently developing Skin Deep's upcoming collaborative documentary on environmental justice. Come on up.
I loved all those pronunciations. So I will just kind of tell you, I actually learned something funny. This is not taking up my few minutes. Mboka in Wolof means one family, which is why we have the festival's One Family Pan-African Festival. But if you say it too hard, like Mboka, it's a headbutt. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of weird. Okay, so as I said, my name is Khadija, and I've been involved with platforms since around 2003, 2004, with African Writers Abroad and the Ken Saro-Wiwa campaign. And because of my literary activism work, I was asked to help and advise on starting up Shake in 2009. And that's how Zena Edwards, Dorothea Smart, and of course, our very wonderful Sai Murray became involved. Please big him up, Sai Murray. Absolutely. There's times to be humble and there's time to take your glory, okay? So it was a great honor for me, which Sai captured very funnily on camera, my absolute joy to be the first one to unwrap these trilogy of books and show them to the team. What an absolutely wonderful surprise, because it's simply a gorgeous testament to the work of Shake. The aesthetics themselves reflects on the power, the skill, the love, and the care that has gone into the work captured here. Each publication can stand on its own in strength and importance, but together, as David Bailey said, this is what methodology is. This is testament to 10 years of consolidating what radical social change looks like and can do. It's a template of good practice of how to start, nurture, and develop a program that is geared towards effective social change. The meaning behind the name on the inside cover of the guidebook guides you in that direction. So from the original 4-year program, Shake has taken on its own mantle that started from a white-led organization recognizing the need to implement systemic change, of putting decolonization at the forefront. They have led in a way that many other organizations are still only talking about today. And if you look on page 238 in the Anthology, there's a really nice little paragraph that talks about that. So, and it's important that this work has gone into print form and not just online. It's key. Firstly, because there's always an association with books and young people that young people don't read. But they not only read, they write. And they produce. It's a symbol of change that reverberates across the globe and across generations. So you all need to be so proud. I feel you should have been entered for the Turner Prize. It can be hard to realize such a program as Shake in a country and society that continually makes excuses and has a blame culture. Britain is never at fault and never wants to accept the responsibility of damage it has caused. They would rather blame the victim. And what Shake has done is countered that blame, turned it on its head and said, this is what our society could and should be. Taken a positive action perspective instead and said, let's shake off the victim perspective and victim mentality. This is what's showing the power of Black Lives Matter in action. You have all re-energized us, so thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. There's a lot of respect that I have had for Shake since the beginning of time. We have modeled a lot of what Skin Deep does on the work that Shake does. The online, the IRL, and my favorite part of it has always been print. And so I wanted to give a little backstory about how we came to kind of work together and collaborate over the years, and just a little chronology and timeline. So Farzana, I met her in 2016, and she was the first Skin Deep mentor that we ever had. And we continue to seek realms and realms of wisdom from her over the years. She introduced us to Voices That Shake, and they have become like a big sister organization to us. I wanted to talk about the ways that they have impacted our work and our perspectives. So the first ever in-person event we ever did was Skin Deep. We invited Shake to come and be part of it. And there were 6 different collectives, and they ran sessions about what it means to share knowledge outside of classrooms. And Farzana and Sarah at the time ran a session about grounding and being in your body and the knowledge that you get from those kinds of spaces. And I think that that's incredibly important now, especially in contexts where we're always told to think and not to feel. And I think that's also reflected in the publication. And then in 2017, we collaborated with Voices That Shake, Virtual Migrants, and Platform just across the way. And we had sessions sharing resource and poetry and music that centered climate justice. And that has been work that you've consistently done and taught and grounded in all of the work around you for the years that we've been working together. And then in 2018, we were invited to be part of the Black Cultural Activism Mapping Project with Shake. And again, we were scrambling together a print publication for that. And we managed to print it the night before the launch. And that was one publication. So the fact that they have managed to pull together 3 publications and do it well before the deadline is I cannot describe how mad that is. And then what we have in the future is we're collaborating with Grace Lee on publishing artworks that have been inspired and are part of a season called Local, which will be coming out in December. So the legacy continues in that. And there's just a little thought I had about wanting to talk about the idea of the cry, and specifically in the naming of the first chapter. For me, the name cry and what it evoked it's not a thinking thing, it's a feeling thing. It's something that is physical and embodied. It is a sound that you experience on a deep and vibrational level. It is full and it is wide and it is disruptive. And a publication like this that exists in full and wide and disruptive print pages is so important in creating and changing the conversations that we're having. It also is a way to like make sure that everyone hits a pause button with print, which is what I felt like when I read the publications for the first time. It was about taking a moment, or many, many moments, to forecast, to lament, to reflect, to rewrite, and especially when everything feels like an endless scroll or a feed or a stream, whatever it is, that taking time to pause can feel really scary and intimidating and futile and counterintuitive, but it is something vital for us to be doing right now. And this publication and the trilogy feels like a collective processing of what it means to question and to create and to build. It's not a hot take. You know, it's not time sensitive. It's not rushed. It's not reactive. And it's a process, and it requires patience. And I appreciate the ability to slow down that it takes for editors to like hold and illustrators to hold that. And also there's like something brilliant in a print in that there's a communality to it in that you pass it on with your experience of it. So the pages that you tear out or the things you underline, you pass on your experience to the next person, and that becomes part of the archive. And then the last thing I want to say is about the archive, which I can talk for hours and hours about, but we asked some of the collective editors of Shake what was, if there's like an idea or a learning or a story that was particularly important to them or that they want readers to take away with them. And they've very rightly said that was a cruel question because there cannot be one single answer, totally fair. But one of the things they did share with us was to value your history and creativity, archive, even the personal archive, is resistance and activism, track your journey and our journey, honor and cherish collective wisdom. And that line, particularly about the archive, is like one of the truest things ever said. So Skin Deep are obsessed with the archive and what it can mean for us, but we understand it as something that is constantly moving. It is happening rather than something that's happened, and it means that we're interested in the lives that our stories can live beyond us and after us, and it helps us build infrastructures and create enduring stories. And so I just want to say thank you to Shake and all the work that they do, but particularly with a trilogy like this, which is doing bits to create that infrastructure and the spaces that are dedicated to lives and experiences and reflections of Black and brown movement builders and storytellers. And just very lastly, sorry, I've gone over my minutes. The anthology and the research report and the guidebook is 10 years of revolutionary creative youth work, and it is full of so much wisdom and power. It's a glorious trilogy of publications that honor the young people that have come through, nourishes movement building, and equips us for the revolution. So all of this to say is that our love affair with Shake runs deep, skin deep. And it's, I think, when I was thinking of how to describe the anthology as a whole, or like the whole trilogy, it feels like it's the most epic kind of hype man that the revolution could ask for. So it's the place that Skin Deep will turn to when we have questions, when we're exhausted, when we need encouragement, when we're reflecting, but also to give us a sense of what has happened and what is to come. So in true Little Sister fashion, we are also trying to think if we can ever be a little bit of what Shake can be in when we're 10 years old. And also the best thing about this is that we know it's one moment in the next 10 years and the next 10 years and the next 10 years, so more life to Shake.
Okay, that was wavy. That was wavy. Yo, Khadija said something earlier. She said, Britain is never at fault. Listen, I watched The Crown, yes. I don't really have a big opinion of Prince Charles. But that man came to Barbados this week, fall asleep, then went on talk, said everything in the kitchen sink about Britain's part in slavery and colonialism, anything but the word sorry. Listen, when Lizzie goes, I just hope you know, innit? You know. You know. Shout out to Khadija for saying the importance of book of book forms for young people. And let me tell you something now. I don't really collect magazines, but I knew, you see Skin Deep? Yo, I got a couple, you know. Listen, the cover is exquisite. The feel is amazing. Like, you can tell when someone takes really a lot of time and care into it. And I appreciate you, we appreciate you. You know, amazing work, you know. She said about crying, you know, it's not a thinking thing, it's a feeling thing, you know. And regard to print, the physicalness, the fact that you can feel it and use your senses, it's really part and parcel to activism. You know, she said also, maybe we can be a little bit of Shake. Lies, big up yourself, you know, you done enough work, blood. Yo, you see her bio that they sent in, it was very humbling because she's done a lot more than that. You know, a movie came out during the pandemic, yeah? BAFTA nominated, BAFTA winner, yeah? Yo, listen, she invited me for the screening of it, and like one of the screening for the first drafts, and I felt so honored. You know, the film's called Rocks. You know, and he was one of the assistant directors, right? You see that? Look at that, man. The film was amazing. So big up to Anu and big up to Khadija because you two have done so much work. It's amazing. Now, I'd like to introduce two heavy hitters that mean a lot to me. You know, like, listen, they're the type of people, yeah, where you go with them to a place. They make sure you fall asleep well and right, and when you wake up, the food's already done. You know, like, I can't lie, they've showed me so much love, and I owe a lot of I am to these two people, you know, just, I love you, you know. So, like, I want to introduce, you know, Fazana Khan. And Cy Murray. Fazana Khan is a cultural producer, award-winning arts educator. She's the executive director and co-founder of Healing Justice London. And she's the former creative and strategic director on Voices That Shake. She's had over 15 years of experience in the community, and youth organizing. Fazana is a fellow at the International Curational Forum. Cy Murray, aka Cy Murray, is a poet, writer, graphic designer, and performance artist of Bayesian, African, and English heritage. His poetry collection, Ad Liberation, a novella published by the People Trees Press. He's got a poem called like about Wilberforce. Yo, when he does it, it's like very, very. Listen, you hear that one time. It's very like. He is the founder of artist activist organization Licorice Fish, a founding artistic director of Shake. Yeah, he was there from day one too. And a member of Virtual Migrants and trustee of the Racial Justice Network. So please, again, applause for Cy and Fazana.
Oh, no, man. That's the best introduction ever. The cry, the urge, the need to connect, to feel, to be human.
Black and white, emergent voices disrupting the binary, reaching for color.
The cry is a moment of politicization, the awakening of the cry within oneself.
It is the cry of the moment, the cry of our people.
It is our own birthing and liberation work into political practice, through the rigor of emotional, intellectual, and spiritual laboring against oppression.
We know, we feel, we intuit that this cry is necessary. When you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Zora Neale Hurston. And in times of dread, artists must never choose to remain silent. Toni Morrison.
A voice and language must be sourced for incomprehensible and unspeakable injustice. The Victorian-styled politician, Jacob Rees-Mogg, a key proponent of the UK's brutal austerity policies, was asked in a recent interview, "What makes you cry?" His answer was instructive. I don't cry. No, I've not cried in adulthood, no. I'm not in favour of this new age drippiness. I think the British did best when they applied a little starch to their upper lips.
Moving in opposition to this white, colonial, heteropatriarchal project of dehumanizing us into self-policing, shame-filled objects, and against the criminalizing and punishing of our coping mechanisms, grief, pain, expressions, Sheikh's approach is about rehumanizing.
We know that the work of the initial cry is a bridge in seeking ways to connect, to feel, to honor pain, to cleanse, to create space for vulnerability and accessing our wholeness.
As inspired by the Dagara tribe and Sobonfu Some's grief work, grief is about affirming worth and dignity. What we offer our tears to lets us know what matters and is valued.
We cry to affirm Black Lives Matter. Our bodies matter. We matter, against the backdrop of everything that tells us we do not.
Paula Price's Headspace artwork, which begins the cry, is a vivid illustration speaking to the harms and the impacts that many of us are coming with when entering any space.
As oppressed, minoritized, and marginalized peoples, there is no neutral terrain.
Our existence is never in a void or a vacuum. The cry becomes the contextualizing and establishing ground by which we acknowledge the ancestral and generational voices that carry within us.
It is the first expression of dissent against compounding and cumulative harm and violence that can no longer go unheard.
As Audre Lorde reminds us, the white fathers told us, "I think, therefore I am." The black mother poet within each of us whispers in our dreams, "I feel, therefore I can be free."
The cry is the invitation to refuse our stiff upper lip. Let our throat roar, and even if our mouths tremble, we hold on to our humanity as we overturn oppression. So yeah, thank you, the hosts. That was an amazing introduction. And that is the introduction, part of the introduction to the book, which I was really honored to collaborate with my sister, sibling, warrior in arms, Fazana, and it was a beautiful piece of writing. I've been saying a lot that over this period I've struggled to write, and I think it's because of the support of family, this family, that this has happened, and it was such an honor to do that piece of collaborative writing. The collaborative writing that we do in Shake is a key part of what we do, and the group poetry within this, and this introduction came about through the process of us all sitting together with the meaning of what we'd done. It followed the amazing forwards from Tiff and from Rose, and for a long while, I think that said everything, and it was a real challenge, I think, to try and add to that. But the process of the book is it's split into 5 chapters. This is the first chapter, The Cry, and that process in itself of deciding how to order all this work we had, all the decade-long pieces, the poems, the artwork. It was tough, and we were laughing at Andrew saying that we got this on deadline, which we did get it on a deadline, but not the deadline, the original deadline. But that speaks to the generosity of the the team, Jane Trowell, the relay that we had. Yeah, big up, Jane. And just the process, the beautiful process of having Rose in position as, putting so much structure to hold this process. And no doubt being frustrated by the lack of deadline meeting and everything else. And then Jane, being there from the beginning with Khadija, and that was such a beautiful cyclical process. And this is what the book speaks to, that although this is the first chapter, you can dive between the pages, you can go around, and each chapter speaks to each other, each piece speaks to the next one. And it's we really encourage you to read all of this. I was sitting with it the other day and just welling up, listening to the words today, and it's it's a great work, and it's thanks to everyone for contributing to it.
It's obvious that something like this can't happen without thousands of hands touching it, and I really mean thousands, from people who've inspired us, people who have brought us to this moment, people who've kept us alive, people who in different ways have showed up for Shake, and we take that very seriously, and we really wanted to create pieces of work that showed movement, even when it's not always visible, even when it's not always understood, even when we can't see a future ahead. And so we really wanted to work to find ways to put things in each other's hands, especially when we've been so isolated through a pandemic, especially when so many of us, the other day, Stacey Haynes had said to some of us, we've got the hardest job, those of us that are in organizing in social justice, because we're trying to unmake a world, whilst the very world that we're trying to unmake and build outside of is trying to unmake us. And so I don't think we ever give ourselves the graciousness or the gentleness of how hard this task is, and also how worthwhile it is. And it's both of those things. It's the grief and joy that so many people have touched on. It's the love and the loss that we see, and it's a lot of work. And I really want to kind of come in the spirit that it's also really possible, and what it means to be able to do this work with so many incredible people. When we say family, and I know everyone says family and community right now, and you hear it at Google, but I really really, we only have each other, and especially as people who are consistently, as Ruth Wilmore Gilson says, oppression is premature death towards oppressed communities, and so many of us are not surviving, and so many parts of us don't survive. And actually, this work, we hope, contributes to all the ways we've lived and loved and lost and carried and continue to carry. So really wanting to leave everyone with that, and knowing that it's also moving with us. And one thing I get to say for myself personally is, I kind of stepped back from Voices That Shake in 2018, and I've always said, it's such an honor, and Sai and Zina, and we've all said this, is that we were entrusted with Shake. It wasn't that Shake belonged to us, we were stewards of it. And now that I'm leading Healing Justice London partially exists because Voices That Shake exists, and everything that I do and get to be part of is inspired and moved by Voices That Shake. So I never left it. It still lives in me, and I love that it lives in me. And I still get to work with Sai, and I still get to work with Jane and Rose and so many of the teams in different iterations. And I think that's a really powerful movement concept for those of us that are doing activism and organizing, where whiteness is telling us to seek, and colonialism and capitalism is perpetuity, to continue to go on and fight and endure, and actually the different ways we can know completion, but also exist, and like it's hidden, and the different subversive ways that we can create, and new forms of relationships, new ways of being, new patterns, new configurations, and that's what really excites me. And I think Voices That Shake has really taught us about practicing those new patterns, practicing those new configurations, and we don't always get it right, but when we do, it's fucking incredible. So I'm gonna pause here because I'll be up in a moment to do the thanks, but I really do want to thank anyone who's known me over the last 10 years, and the woman I am now is because so much of it is because of Shake, and I'm so grateful. So thank you, Shakers, Shake family, everyone, allies, friends.
Add to that, but I would just say something else around the book, because you will all get a copy. You will all pick up a copy of this, and we do want it to travel. We had on the chapters. You should note that they are ordered around the articulation of voice. So this is the cry chapter. We also have the protest, breath, the call, and harmony. So we are intending to do more with this book, as lots of people have said. We want this book not to just sit. We want it to move. We want it to be in spaces. Beautiful to hear how it's going to be in the Somali Museum and everywhere else. And we want it to be used with the guidebook and with the research report. So this is the first chapter. We want to do more. We'll be looking to do more in the new year. It's beautiful energy in here. I'm sure lots of us are connecting for the first time since a while. So we're going to keep that energy. We'll do some reading, writing, repairing groups together. We need to use what we've done here to celebrate ourselves and to keep on doing the work. And this is, all your energy. These publications are really going to serve us well into that future. Thank you. So we've now got a special guest who's, big thanks to Tiff for organising this. You go, Tiff Webster. And again, this is something we'd hope to do in future, to get a distinguished person to really engage with the book and to really look at the youth, words the youth, and engage and to comment. And so we've got an amazing person to do this. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome by video screen Kelechi Okafor.
Hello, my name is Kelechi Okafor, and I am an actor, director, podcaster, and writer, as well as the co-founder of Kolechnikov Dance Fitness Studio, where we teach pole dance and twerk and all the wonderful things, and just creating spaces for people to feel seen. I get a lot of invitations to be part of a number of things, but being part of or celebrating the launch of Voices That Shake really meant something to me, because I do believe that, through art, through creativity, that is the way that we can shift things. It's one of the ways that we can shift things. So it's no surprise that one of the first things that, fascist sort of like governments and things like that, what they go for is the art. They go to stop you creating things that move people. And I think that this anthology is a great way of addressing that. It's a great way of seeing just what can be done through words and images that move people, and it definitely moved me. I know that you sent me a range of questions, so I'm going to be working through them. The theme of our launch night is The Cry. What pieces spoke to you from the anthology's chapter 1, The Cry, and why? So many pieces spoke to me from the chapter entitled The Cry, so many pieces. I love that in the description of The Cry, we talk about those moments. We talk about those moments that bring you to life. There's a description in here somewhere that talks about when a child is born and they take their first breath and they cry, working the lungs, all of that. And I think that when we cry, whether it's literal or figurative we are using our capacity to feel. And I think that that is probably one of the pivotal moments where we start moving towards change, because we have to first kind of almost feel that kind of guttural sort of yearning for something better. There were quite a few pieces that I liked, but I think I loved everything that I read in the choir. I loved Adam Elliott Cooper's essay. We're talking about public space, young people and violence. I really enjoyed reading that because, again, when we think about public spaces, when we think about the policing of public spaces and how the government seemed to just have a great time during the pandemic when it was like, you can't go outside. Of course, you know, we were thinking about our health and limiting the transmission of the virus. However, they were trying to pass through certain pieces of legislation that were primarily there really to stop us organizing, to stop us dissenting to the ways that we are treated within society. When people gathered for the marches and, you know, they were pulling down the statues of the useless wayward individuals, you know, the first thing our Home Secretary wanted to do was be like, okay, well, we're going to pass a bill where if you do that, you're getting this number of years in prison. And that's funny because your colleagues, including yourself, you're doing wild things all the time that you should be in prison for. If we're going to talk about keeping prisons, that's where you and your friends should be. But you want to put people in there who are rightfully dissenting against an oppressive society. So I think it's great that Adam draws attention to this. Adam draws attention to the way that our public spaces are commodified. Like, we can't have graffiti as an artistic expression. We can't have that, but we have endless adverts from corporations telling us what to buy, what to think, and how to feel, or to not feel at all. So I think that that was one of the pieces that really struck me. And it's funny because I read all of chapter 1 and there were moments in there that I literally did feel like crying because it touches, that's my son, it touches a great space within you when you read the words of other people. Who Is It Made For by Anik Metafia, that was really powerful for me because it says in the first stanza talking about third world DNA doesn't fit in jeans. Who are the jeans made for? Do plasters heal the same when they're beige or brown? My friends who keep pushing their glasses up, not made for their beautiful flat noses. Third world DNA doesn't fit well in jeans. When I tell you that that floored me, because I literally never considered, look at my nose. I literally never considered that the reason that I see my friends pushing up their glasses is because there's sometimes no bridge really in the same way that, some Europeans or a lot of Europeans have their bridges. There was no bridge for them to kind of sit their glasses on. And so you just start thinking about the minutiae. You start thinking about the little details in our society and the ways that we've been taught that certain things are just normal when they're not. And I think about the idea that, yes, we are here. I think there's a description here that Anik uses talking about who are these genes made by? 4/5 of the world sewing for the 1/5. And that is interesting to me because that is literally what is happening. Like, you create something for other people that you cannot see yourself in. The amount of times I've gone into different shops and you try on the jeans and they swear they're large, they swear they're extra large, and here you are struggling to get into them. And then you take that as an inference about what your body is not doing, rather than understanding that our bodies and ourselves, we are doing as we were created to do, and not fitting within the confines of what is deemed as normal, what is deemed as like central to all of our lives. That, it's just wild. We don't have to fit into those things. We can be as we are. And so a lot of these poems, a lot of these pieces moved me so deeply. Like, I think this was one as well. I'm just trying to find it for you because I was reading some bits over and over and over again. I think everything's wonderful. Here we go. The artist showcase that focuses on Randa Toko. I liked that Randa Toko documented the London 2015 climate march in support of Wretched of the Earth. One of the statements here says, Randa coined the following phrase during Sheikh's solidarity visit to amplify frontline voices at the COP21 Climate Change Summit in Paris in 2015. We cannot decarbonize without decolonizing. And I think that that's so important because we also saw it happen this year when all of those world leaders gathered to talk about climate change, and all that they kept wanting to bring up was things like, oh, overpopulation. And again, this is a myth. The earth is not overpopulated. It's just a small group of people that are hoarding our wealth and hoarding the resources and hoarding access to these resources, and limiting and also depositing the waste that they cannot be bothered with. They cannot be bothered to think in a manner that is holistic with our environment. They can't be bothered with that. So they're depositing all of these things in the global south and things like that and places like that, which means that they'll then turn around and be like, oh, look at you guys over there suffering. Look at you guys ruining everything. No, but it started with you. And they talk about overpopulation, but they don't want to talk about the consumption of their countries and their continents, whatever. They don't talk about that. They want to keep passing the blame to those who cannot, who are not afforded the space, the world stage, to speak up against what is kind of being the myth that's being pushed upon them. We're seeing it happening in real time with the new COVID strain, and people keep reporting that, oh, South Africa, this is where we've identified this COVID strain. And so therefore, South Africans, you're not allowed to enter into the UK, or you're not allowed to enter into these places. But you have to ask yourself, no, South Africa is not the first place that the strain showed up. South Africa, in terms of the scientists, just had the wherewithal to research what the strain was and to alert the rest of the world. Belgium had also had the strain. The UK, it's been about, but they don't talk about this because it's about pushing a xenophobic narrative and ultimately an anti-black narrative. And so we've got Boris Johnson and his freakily fraggly hair looking just a mess. And I also believe that whole look is contrived anyway, because people buy into this narrative of the Prime Minister being a bumbling fool, and you're happy to be ruled, or you're happy to be led by a bumbling fool. Really, you don't want better for yourself. That's wild. He's there talking about, oh, you know, we really helped the rest of the world get vaccinated. We helped with this and we helped with that. Well, no, because you hoarded you hoarded vaccines first and foremost, and you didn't even want to make it available to people or to other countries so they could create their own vaccines. You didn't want to make the formulas available. So it just goes to show that we are in a time, and have been for centuries really, where the narrative is being shifted right in front of our eyes, and we're being gaslit all across the place, and we're told that the reality that we feel viscerally within our bones, that we imagined it. So of course we will cry. We'll cry for many reasons. There's I love that I read here about grief work as well, because I feel that catches us the space to grieve, the space to feel things. There's a place here, there's a poem here that really got to me, that I just thought was amazing, but if I can't locate it now, talking about womanhood, here we go, Natural Disposition by Farah Ahmed. We get to the last section of the poem, and the mother is being asked about, you know, a diagnosis that she's received. And it says here, when you arrive, she looks concerned. The doctor says I have 3 women-related problems. Their names are too big for me to spell. The harder you stare at the documents, the less you understand. You wonder how the doctor can comprehend her body in a language she cannot make sense of. Does your family know? Have you taken time off work? Is there anything I can do? A part of you knows the last question is futile. Don't you worry about me. Us women can tolerate pain in a way a man can't. It's just easier to let them think they're stronger. I struggle to believe this. What about counselling? You're always taking care of everyone else. She laughs with dismay. Counselling? I tried that over the telephone once and got so bored I started cleaning the kitchen. What about meditation, exercise, positive affirmations? She looks at you like she looks at her children, and you no longer feel like a grown woman in the way she is. I don't have the time, but thank you. when I tell you that hit and that slaps, that was a word. Because we don't even think about sometimes the way that even our time is politicized and our access to rest is politicized. And when it comes to womanhood, there is something in there. There is something in there about being women of color and how we are denied spaces to rest, because actually our productivity keeps everything else going, and our productivity is needed in some ways as a distraction, so we do not focus on our freedoms. And I love that it also says in here about I feel, therefore I am free. If we are so busy doing, there is less time for feeling, and thus less time to understand or to rigorously examine where our freedom is and how to really reclaim that freedom. And so many mothers in so many generations know this feeling well that is described here by Farah Ahmed, about, you talk about meditation, exercise, positive affirmations, the way that that's also being co-opted by, whiteness, by mainstream media. People throw these things about, but they do not ask themselves, but who has the time? Who is afforded the time to be able to do all of these things? Because while they're able to do all of these things, somebody else is carrying their burden for them. If we're talking about, in the white mainstream or, whiteness generally, this is what we're faced with. And it's a lot. It harkens back to so many different conversations, white women and their white feminisms deciding that, we're going to go and join the workforce, we're going to go out to work, but while you were going out to work, who was looking after your children? And those are the same people that are unable to access the rest that they are deserving of now. And when we tell ourselves things like, women can handle more pain than a man can, they're just allowed to feel stronger. But we have to, again, talk about the white supremacist heteropatriarchy that is forced upon us constantly, where they are simultaneously infantilized whilst given all of the power as well. There's so much happening there. And I can't wait to get into the rest of the chapters. As we were just talking about rest and time, I'm a very, very busy person. But this book and all that accompanies it means a lot, because there's a workbook as well, for rituals and things like that, and the work that we need to do, the daily work that we need to do in order to decolonize the spaces within us, unlearn the narratives that we hold on to without realizing that stops us from feeling and thus experiencing freedom. So thank you for everybody that contributed to this. Thank you to Sheikh for creating something so amazing, so culture shifting as well, and also affirming. I can't wait to discuss it more on my channels. I can't wait to get through the rest of the chapter and do the work that is there to be done. Thank you all so much.
Wow, powerful. Thank you, Kelechi. That's so beautiful to hear someone like that connecting with the work of these young people, these talented artists. Thank you, Tiff, for setting that up. Do follow Kelechi. She's brilliant on Twitter. Listen to her podcast. Listen to the calling out of these wayward people, fraggly haired individuals, all that. She's fantastic. So we're so honored to have that. The next guest we're going to invite to share some words is someone who has again been instrumental to Sheikh from maybe afar. Again, Khadija mentioned how, in the origins of Sheikh, I first met Zena Edwards as part of Seawords Project, which was platform initiated with Jane Trowell. And at the same time, I was a poet in residence with this individual, Dorothea Smart. And so it's our great pleasure to have Dorothea share some words from the new Republic of Barbados. Woo! Big. We've talked a lot about toppling of these figures, so she will.
Launch of your incredible triplets. I had no idea that when Sai said he was working on designing the book, singular, and then these amazing things showed up in the post, and I can't tell you how proud I am to have even the slimmest little slither of an association with you guys, and the fact that Shake My Future inspired you all so much just makes me feel like, as Audre Lorde would say, that I'm doing my work in the world, as you guys undoubtedly are doing your work in the world. I'm humbled by your activism, I'm inspired by your activism, and I'm affirmed and made to feel alive, by your activism. And now I can take you all home in 3 books. Brilliant. So it's lots of love from me here in Barbados. And see how kind I was. I didn't film myself in front of the rolling blue sea and palm trees, which is just over the road. So, yeah, sorry I can't be with you all, but congratulations. Shake my future. Shake my future. Push me past my complacency, my taken for granted, my comfort zone. Shake my future. Let me source the unimagined, be released from the sentence of the inevitable. Take control, empower myself, past the dour predictions of the present, and change myself. Shake my future. Challenge our first world's capitalist, consumerist, criminal zone of perpetual purchasing. Shake my future. Past the edges of the known world. Launch me out into the hinterlands of the intuited, imagined. Beyond the droughts of apathy, and quench my thirst for something different. Shake my future with alternative endings. Curdle the milk of corporate kindness, the patronizing rattle of charity cans to preserve the poor and assuage my guilt. Shake my future with a kaleidoscope of tunes. Play some other melody and bliss me out of ignorance. Let my mind expand with a question and seeking the answers. Shake my future. Shake my future. Shake my future in a triangle of tangential tirades and beckon me into a sandwich of yes we can and hope.
Lord knows I don't want to say this wrong. Shout out to Dorothea. Can you see what I just did there? Just accent, Dorothea. I'll make it sound more exotic. Dorothea. She actually gave me one of my first opportunities, like first gigs as a poet when I was like 17, 18. Loved that. The poem she just read actually came out before Shake did. So, like Fazana said to me earlier, she kind of manifested us. So, that's the word everyone loves, manifest. Manifest. So, just a shout out to Dorothea in Barbados.
Yeah, it was really amazing to see everything come full circle or full spiral, because it's not the end, it's just a continuation. And with that, we're coming to the end of the night, everybody. So thank you for your energy. Thank you for joining us this evening in person. It's been so great to see so many familiar faces. Thank you to the people who joined online and sent us their vibes through the airwaves. This night has been such a great celebration and launch of the Shake trilogy, and I'm truly inspired. I can't wait to tuck in. This night has really demonstrated our close connections to each other, and I hope to keep vibesing and working with you all way into the future. So thank you for coming. Thanks for contributing. Thank you for witnessing. Thank you for holding space for us. Thank you for holding space for my nervy nerves. Thank you to my amazing, warm, generous co-host, Rotimi. Woo-hoo! And don't forget to buy the Shake trilogy.
I just want to give a shout out to my co-host, like me, I grew up in Peckham, South London, innit? And I wasn't much of a fighter because I was small. So jokes was how I got my way around, innit? So I know that I love talking to people. It comes natural to me. But Shazara's came up here and co-hosted with me, and it's the first time she's hosted an event. And I can't lie how proud I feel because that takes so much courage. So much courage to come up and do something you don't naturally feel gifted at. And to me, I can't lie, that's something I always marvel and always feel proud of. You know, so like, listen, big up, big up. Also, shout out to Jane, you know, Jane and Platform, because they came through to Southside and gave us this opportunity for us to come and do what we do. Shout out to Zena Edwards, she's not here right now, but you see that woman there? Love her to bits. Kind, caring, tentative, wherever you is, I love you. Shake has given me the opportunity to like develop myself. I went from a young person being involved to assisting in certain things, and then recently they gave me the opportunity to actually facilitate my own collective of my own. Me and Annie together, we helped with Patrice and Rosa in the back. Done no. Big up to On The Record, a new wave. Like, I just feel so proud. Like, I don't think you understand how it feels like to go from the young person to the older, to, you know what, to imparting your ways and the things you learned before, because one of the things about Shake is intergeneration. And, yo, things can't set if you don't look back. You have to look forward to look back and back to look forward. So thank you for the night. You're so beautiful. You look amazing. But before we go, we just want to bring Fasana back on the stage. So another round of applause for Fasana, please.
It's only just to do thank yous, and the way we wanted to do thank yous, because there's like a million thank yous to do, and you'll see on the slide, there's 3 rounds of slides because there are so many people to thank, and our wonderful tech are going to get the slides up in a moment. And so maybe if we can just take a moment to, in quiet rest and pause, look at some of the names, and they'll just go around. I'm sure we've missed out some people as well, not intentionally, but just because there's just so many people who have shaped Shake. And it's going to loop for a few times. And in the meanwhile, I want to do a list of thank yous for people who have helped the publication come into being, but also this event. And I'm going to read everyone out, and then we can do a massive raise the roof, send the vibrations, kind of applause and stomping. So just let me read the whole list because it's quite a long list. So the first thank yous is to the actual team, and that is, of course, Sai, Paula, Jane, Grace, Deborah, Rose, Tiff, Anik, and Haneen, who have put together this 2-year legacy project, hopefully catalyzing project. We also want to thank our partners, Numbi, Skin Deep, Healing Justice London, and Platform. We want to thank our tech crew, led by George, Nindi. We want to, and also the support crew that we've had for this event, which is Janet, Arif, Hajra, Miad, Tahmin, Sonia, and Fee. And then to also thank our allies in the work, Toynbee Hall, and particularly Whitney and Ben, who have been supporting our wonderful caterers, Lady Lane Market, of course, all the speakers and contributors that we've heard tonight, and our DJ who's going to be here with us till 10, so we can have a little bit of a, vibe it out with DJ Dry Babe, and then, of course, all the previous shakers and shakers to come. And then our funders, because we always got to mention them, who've resourced this work, and it's important that they continue to resource and sustain radical work. So Arts Council England, Esme, Fairburn, Paul Hamlin, Act for Change, and then Joseph Roundtree. So just, we can now raise the roof to all of those thank yous that deserve it. Thank you.
course, we want to do a thank you to you all for sharing, those online and those in IRL, in real life with us. So yeah, thank you all. Like, round of applause to you all. Thank you, and have a lovely evening.
We should not be the only ones on stage. Can we get the team up, everyone else up on stage? Group photos. Come. Everyone who's blessed the stage tonight, come back and let's have a photo. Khadija, Kinsey, Jane, JT needs to be up here. Not sat down, up. Patrice, come. People who've been called out by Kelechi. Where's Farah? Any shakers who've been... Dilly, you need to be on here. Where's Farah? Grace, yeah. Where's Farah? Is Farah gone? Jasmine as well. Sakina, come. Oh, Anu needs to be here.
Anu. Yeah, you gotta do it.
Thanks, Si. So, everyone, when I say voices, you say shake, yeah? Voices! Shake! Voices! Shake! Voices! Shake! Thank you.
I didn't know what I was saying.
Drop down inwards to your ocean floor. Release. Relax. And listen to the data in your body. Practice world building here first and affirm yourself for a while. Honor your grief. Honor your rage, fear. Honor the knowledge systems and memories that live in you. Pay homage to your lineages. Honor your awakening and your desire for something else.